media group's programming. And they have and I'm trying to get on, qualify to get on the debate. There's 4 candidates running for Congress here. And they disqualified 2 of us with the criteria that we haven't raised $50,000. And that excludes my money that I stuck in. That excludes in-kind payments that I've gotten. That excludes the grassroots value, volunteers that have helped me and done what they could for me. And these guys are outside the state, but they're going to determine who's a qualified citizen and a qualified candidate for Congress in this state. That should never happen. And I've been raising hell with them and the local media, but the local media is actually on my side. I've won them over to my side, more or less, but they're owned by this corporation outside the country now, or outside the state now, that is imposing this insane criteria on it. Well, I had the same problem with a debate just prior to that a few weeks ago here with
yes, that's why.
what was the name of it again?
Prosperity.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's a Cook Brothers operation. Basically, it's free trade and open borders. That's the only thing that's important. Well, we broke that down. I got to my Republican opponent to address the issue that he would not attend the debate if all 4 of us wasn't on there. So we won a major battle there by fighting with that. Well, we got the same thing here, only this is a bigger battle now because we're talking about a damn group that is shutting down people all over the country like myself with that one single criteria that you've got to raise money. Well, for 2 weeks I've been trying to get a hold of somebody in Nexstar that could tell me who set that criteria, why that criteria was set. And when I was out in Rapid City here a few days ago, I did get a call from somebody from there. I think the 3rd guy in power, from what I could find out about it. And I told him, I said, what gives you the right to determine who a candidate in South Dakota is? It should be the responsibility of the Secretary of State to certify us and the people of South Dakota, or else you go through a party caucus process, or you get the signatures that qualify you, and then still the Secretary of State has to certify you. Well, that's fine and wonderful, he said, and I said, money and political parties weren't what built this country. I said it was principles and ideas. And he said, Mr. Money has always determined the political outcome of politics since the beginning of time. And I called him, what did I call him? Young man. I said, young man. And then he blew up, on me. And then he gave me this big long list of shit and degrees that he was supposed to have and companies that he worked for. And I said, when he got done shooting his mouth off, I said, well, you're still a young man in my world. I'm 75 years old. Do you think you're older than I am? And he didn't say anymore, but I ended up going nowhere with him. And so now I'm asking people all over the country if they will call this Nexstar Corporation and tell them it's time that they grow up and become citizens of the United States of America based on the Constitution. And if we can win this battle, and right now I just sent out a letter, a couple days ago, I sent out a letter to all 3 of my opponents requesting, actually I can give you
What's the phone number?
John, why don't you read that phone number and
The
everybody can
Nexstar
write it
phone
down.
number?
the Nexstar phone number is 972. Actually, I want to give each one of you a page describing what's going on here. And then you've got some talking points. I think we're ready up right here.
I'll give you
I think we're all the way down right now.
I'll quickly read you the letter that I just sent out to my opponents. And I've had personal contact with one of the opponents. Well, I've had personal contact with all of them, and I've discussed it with all of them. But in the last 4 or 5 days, I've only been able to talk to one, and that's the Republican candidate, and he has pretty well agreed with me. But this is the letter that I just sent to him. We 4 candidates to represent South Dakota in the Congress of the United States have all been certified by the South Dakota Secretary of State's office for ballot status in the midterm elections on November 6th, 2018. Number two, we four candidates are all actively campaigning across the state, and among us have held many events, been interviewed by many newspapers and radio and TV stations. We have debated each other in a number of prior forums. Three, we four candidates believe that our qualifications to be present to publicly debate on October 19th derives from nomination by our respective parties or from petitioning, both as regulated by the Office of the South Dakota Secretary of State, which office has subsequently certified our candidates. We four candidates are in firm agreement that should any one of us be excluded from this debate pursuant to any extraneous arbitrary criteria, that the other three will not participate. Five, we four candidates are therefore looking forward to your reconsideration regarding George Hendrickson and Ron Wieczorek, who have been excluded for not meeting criteria set by Nexstar Broadcasting Group. So this has gone to the KELO land people here in Sioux Falls here, and it's also been sent to Nexstar. So I'm waiting for feedback from the Democrat to find out whether Tim Bjorkman's going to sign this or not. It sounded fairly favorable by the campaign manager that I talked to here and sent the letter to.
What's the
So,
Thursday.
The 19th. Friday, this Friday.
Oh, Friday, the
Yeah.
19th.
yeah, it's gotten down to the brass tacks line. So I don't give up till I'm down, and then I usually pop back up anyway, but I'm ready for the next fight.